Well, hey there. It's your old pal Keith from wavetables.lol. That's wavetables.lol. Wavetables.lol. Haha. That's a thing. So, I make long talky videos, so TLDR, I have recently made a very large collection of single cycle waveforms, and as well, an even larger collection of wavetables that are based off of those single cycle waveforms. And those waveforms are all made with pure mathematics. They're not samples. They're based on various scripts and several, actually many, different techniques for creating single cycle waveforms. And they tend to have timbres that are like this. Let's find, here's my Mband. Negative, polygon. Pretty cool stuff. So, this particular sound, actually we're kind of looking at the wrong thing, huh? This is a very simple patch. It's only using one layer and indeed just one oscillator in modwave native. These wavetables are laid out as Korg bundle files that you can import into your Korg modwave native, and then they're also supplied as Serum compatible wave files. And those wave files can be imported into Serum. I've actually organized them into a little directory that you can just drop into your tables folder for Serum, and you can get access to literally 36,000 plus new wavetables made out of the single cycle waveforms. And so beyond Serum and Modwave, you could import these into Vital. You could use them in Pigments, Phase Plant. I'm probably leaving some out. Ableton Wavetable, all sorts of different things. Anything that supports that 32-bit wave file format with 2048 samples per frame could use these. You could also convert them if you needed to, or you could contact me and I could help you convert them if you have some different format. I'm interested to hear about that. Anyway, I had made one intro video for this that was, it was kind of crappy audio-wise because I just used Loom to do things kind of quick and dirty. And so my audio clipped when it, got converted from stereo to mono. Anyway, talky. Let's go through, and I want to explain some of the different types of waveforms and like how they're organized in the wavetables, and maybe show some demos. So let's see. We heard this type of thing. There's a lot of these waveforms in here, and these waveforms are generated using a mathematical series called the polygonal number series. And I really went deep on those. Let's see here. Let's go into KRC Math Volume 1. This has about, oh gosh, I don't really know how many wavetables are in here. There's thousands of them. But I went really deep on the polygonal series stuff. Let's go to poly. If I could learn to type, that would be nice. Let's see here. Pgon, that's what we want. Okay, so there's all sorts of different variations on these, but let's go to the original ones. Here is a polygonal waveform. Let's look at the waveforms that are made from 5-sided polygon, 0 offset. Here we go. Now, I've heard lots of different waveforms that are bell-like, but these are like more bell-like than anything I've ever heard. And you can use them in more complex ways. Here's a little more full-featured patch, I guess. Super cool stuff. And of course, we associate these types of sounds with wavetable synthesis, because often you might sweep some wavetable and hear something like that. But commonly, they're just some waveform that happens to have some inharmonic content or something. These are really special. And so I had actually just started this project by just wanting to explore these type of waveforms. And so you'll see actually that I think I did the Ngons to, what is it? Up to side 12, maybe? Pgon, side 9. Yeah. Oh, all the way up to 15. So like 15 sides, and then did variations on these where there's an offset to the harmonics. And interestingly, they retain their character. But there you go. That's a weird property of this polygonal waves. And then I did a whole bunch of other waveforms using other mathematical series, and then some crazy techniques I cooked up, like frequency shift keying, binary bit masking, yada, 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 all sorts of things. It'd take too long to go through all the different wavetables. But you'll also find stuff that's, more traditional inside here. Like, here's something that this sort of looks like a sawtooth wave, right? A very pretty kind of fizzy digital analog sort of thing. Maybe those are strings, maybe those are brass. I don't know. Let's see. What else can you do with these? Let's go and explore a little bit more. Here's a little patch called Spectral Traveler, and the idea with this patch is to just kind of make it easy to scan through some of the waves and get an idea of what they sound like, and to make hybrid waves. So in this patch, and also I want to stress my collection is not about patches. There are 4 Korg Modwave, some sample patches like this to sort of get you started, but my pack of wavetables that's available commercially and has 36,000 wavetables and the 29,000 single cycle waveforms that compose them, provided in lots of different formats. The focus is on the wavetables, right? I assume you know what you're doing in terms of patching stuff. But maybe you're not an expert, so there are some things to get you started. I don't have a collection of patches for Serum, but you can just kind of drop these in and start fooling around with them. What I've done here is I love Modwave Native. And one thing that's cool about Modwave Native is that, we can always interpolate between 2 specific waveforms, even if we don't have them within the same wavetable, because we have this like AB oscillator, right? So you can do an oscillator that's just a single wavetable, and then, you could change position and sweep through it. But you can also do the wavetable AB, and then you have this kind of balance slider between the wavetable in slot A and the wavetable in slot B, and you can kind of morph between them. And so in this particular patch, let me go into small head mode. Sorry, I'm over here in big head mode. There. Oh, I'm over here in the modulation section. We've got this slider over here, right, that lets us morph between A and B. And so I've got that connected to mod knob A. And my hardware controller actually is my hardware mod wave. So you can see I can go from this wave, right, over to the wave that's in the corresponding wave in wavetable B. And I can then smoothly morph between them. So one really cool thing you can do with these is you can use that AB mode and just load up one of these wavetables into A and another into B, and then you can find these interesting transitions between them, right? And we're not even modulating this yet. Pretty cool stuff. And then if I wanted to explore more, so what we're looking at here is we've got a we've got one of the BRM, that's bin ring modulation. Um, this is an approach where we take a bunch of sine waves and sum them via certain rules using ring modulation to come up with new wave shapes. And you can just kind of browse through here. And we get very different results just by switching wavetables. And then I've got another knob set up here on my offset. So offset controls like how far into the B wavetable we offset from A's position. So I could select different waveforms here. That's kind of interesting. And then there's the hybrid version that's halfway in between those two waves. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Just to show you more what that's like when you animate that. So you see here, we are using an envelope to, animate that transition, right? It's the OS1 envelope. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. So one way that these wavetables are organized, or it's really the waveforms within them are organized, are in various packs where I have constructed wavetables by taking a random selection, different numbers of waveforms, and putting them into a single wavetable. And as we go through the collection, when I was doing this, I would only use one waveform once, so they're not duplicated around the collection. So there's this collection called Explore 16, and so this has, oh gosh, it's like, I think this is about 10,000 wavetables. Maybe it's not that many. Well, let's go. I'm sciencey, so let's find out. Let's go into our librarian, and let's go to wavetables. And let's see here. How many are in the Explore 16? Oh, Explore 16. So there's 1,574 of those. And so these are, again, 16 waveforms at a time. Let's go back over to edit mode. And let's just pick one of these out. There we go. And so we're now scanning through B. So this is a really cool way to be able to browse the collection and just sort of find interesting waveforms. And also, since there's, only 16 in this particular wavetable, it's quite easy to find, morphs between different waves. And then, of course, we combine that with the A wavetable, and now we're morphing across two different wavetables. And we can just find all sorts of interesting new patches in here, right? And this is a very simple patch idea. Again, you can see that in my mixer here. So I've only got one oscillator going, right? Now, I also do have, I don't even have unison set up. So we just got some simple effects, right? So we've got a chorus and we got an echo. Of course, we've got the reverb on our main effect. Use your words, Keith. So it's very rich already. And there's just, a modulated filter cutoff here. We've got some velocity on amp, I guess. Super simple, but the richness of these wavetables lets you really create some cool stuff. One thing that I usually like to do is use multiple voices, so we might turn unison up, right? that in stereo. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see here. Let's try to get some other interesting examples going here. So there's a whole family of waveforms in here where I used different waves besides sines using that bit multi-ring mod technique. And this one's kind of fun. Huh? That sounds like something. I don't know. There's a song in there somewhere. You could make like a hit song out of that. Cool. Let's see. Oh, let's kind of go back over here. Let's not select a different waveform yet. And again, there's a lot of different waveforms in each of these, and then, a huge number. I do like these particular waveforms quite a bit. They have that kind of square wave quality to them, but not over the top, and they also sort of sound like there's a chord inside some of them, right? You actually almost hear two distinct pitches. And that's not just because there's unison. It's just kind of a characteristic of these waveforms. Some of them, like this one, it's almost like two waveforms in one. Very interesting properties. Let's see, what else should we talk about here? Well, you could just do your standard. What's going on here in 2? I see. So in 2, we've got a sawtooth type wave. It's been phase shifted. And then over in 1, we've got this more bell timbre. And again, what are we using here? So, this is using the Explore 64 wavetables. So the Explore 64 wavetables pack 64 waveforms into a single, that's a funny looking graph, into a single wavetable. And so the waveforms are a lot closer together. And again, they're kind of random, but still useful. Nifty, nifty. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Oh. So it's a more complicated example where I've actually got 2 different layers set up, again, using some of the Explore wavetables, I should say. In the free collection, so there's a free version of these wavetables that gives you a sampler of 127 distinct wavetables in a variety of versions. There's some of the Explore 4s, some of the Explore 16s, some of the Explore 64s. And so there's actually a lot of waveforms in that simple pack. But it pales in comparison, of course, to the commercial version. Again, which is just $29 and contains more than 29,000 waveforms and more than 36,000 Wavetables. What else do I want to say about this? And how long have I been going? 20 minutes. Okay. Well, you know what I might do is just pause for a second and we'll regroup and do something more. And so I guess I should talk a little bit more about how these wavetables are laid out. Like, so here's a cool, like, kind of glass bells sort of thing. And this wavetable is found in the free collection. You can see it's labeled free up here. Um, and then I've got some kind of a darker layer coming in on OS2, controlled by the modwave. Modwave, by the mod wheel. The mod wheel on my modwave. Spoopy. Okay, so I guess we'll start with some of these categories. So you get a sampler in the free collection, and let's go down into not big head mode. There we go. You get a sampler in the free collection. Let's just go look at everything that's in free. In Serum, these would be organized into subdirectory of the tables folder. For Modwave, they're organized in collections. And so if you were to download the free collection, you'll see that you will get all these different wavetables, and they're of different types. So I talked a little bit about the Explore ones. So Explore 16 means that there are 16 randomly selected waveforms. And obviously that's not what this is really intended for, to sweep through it like that, but you can hear all the waves real quick, right? Let's bring 2 down. All right. And so there are many of those, 16 at a time. And then there's also the ones that are just labeled Explore. Now, the Explore wavetables, without the 16, there are actually 4 waveforms at a time. So there's... All right. And so these are suitable, right, for sweeping, as well as for just, dialing in specific waveforms and small transitions. Let's see, what other types do we have in here? We had started, actually, well, let's just show that there's 64. So there's ones that are 64 at a time. Now there's a ton of waveforms in here. And if you were to scan through them really fast, it's just really noisy, right? I guess another thing, to remember is that you can change your crossfade width, right? So in Modwave, we smoothly in quotes in this case, between the waves in the wavetable. But if we turn crossfade width all the way down, we'll just hit the actual frames in the wavetable. And Modwave supports 64 frames per wavetable. So none of the wavetables have more than 64 frames in them. When you use these in Serum, I've put a what is it called? Is it file info or something? There's an info file inside of each folder that tells Serum to crossfade them. But you can defeat that, of course, by you could edit the wavetables and then, remove the morph, or you could just remove the text file from the folder, and then it will import them in a way that would just scan through the specific waveforms. Okay, so you've got a bunch, there's 64 at a time. And then I did some special kinds of variations. The RAIM wavetables, and this is the one we were, I think, originally using, maybe? Let's see, was it? Let's go back. Glass Heart. Yeah, it's RAIM 0004. What I did to create these wavetables is I take 2 waveforms from the collection and morph between them, but it's not in the same sort of time linear fashion as you would get if you just had a 2 waveform, 2 frame wavetable in Modwave or in Serum. What I've done is I used my own algorithm. It's called random adaptive interpolated magnitude, where what we do is we start with those 2 waveforms and then generate 5 interstitial waveforms using a non-time linear algorithm. Basically what it does is for each point between the two waveforms, we actually compute two candidates. One has the phase of the end waveform, one has the phase of the start waveform, and we select the one that has the lowest DC offset. What this does is it creates a wavetable that has like a slightly different kind of flavor and a slightly different kind of transition between the waveforms than we would get with just the default kind of morphing. The point is that they're just kind of cool. And of course, this collection is kind of dominated by these bell-like tones, but there are other things as well. And so in the full collection, there are, how many RAIM ones are there? So they're organized into a collection again. So if you click KRC RAIM, there are 12,000 of these in the full collection because we went through the waveforms and roughly used each one once. If we go back into here, let's see, let's go to the RAIM from the full collection. I don't know, go down here into the 8,000s. Ooh, cool. That's nice. So that's what the RAIMs are. There are also, let's go back to our free collection. There are also variations similar to RAIM that are called Mband. So the multiband waveforms, again, they start with 2 frames apiece, but what I do is there are 6 interstitial frames, so these have a total of 8 frames. Let's see here. And again, instead of just a linear morph between the start and end waveforms, what we do is I split them up into 4 frequency bands. We randomly select one of those frequency bands. You could think of them as being low, mid-high, and high. We say, well, one of those will be linear and will change linearly along the length of the morph. And then for the other frequency bands, we assign a different speed to them. So it's random between 1, like, pure linear, and 0.5, which is, faster. It's going to, like, half of the time we would get to the second wave. And so this is a subtle effect, but what it does is it creates a little bit of diversity in these that, again, you wouldn't get from pure time linear interpolation. So they're very cool. And in full collection, how many of those are there? What's the Mband? So I did it with my first collection of waveforms. Let's see, where's the multiband? Multiband, Vol 2 multiband, Vol 1 multiband. So in the Volume 1 multibands, there's 12,592 because we took one waveform, used it once from the whole collection, selected a second waveform, so it's roughly half of, 29,000. So there's a ton of these. And then I wasn't done. I thought I was done with my waveform collection. I was like, oh gosh, I should make like another few thousand waveforms. And so there's a collection 2, and I did Mband versions of those. Let's see if we can, did that. Oops, that didn't give us that one. Let's go to Mband 2. Were there any Mband 2s? Yeah, V2 Mband. This is the free collection. The waveforms in the V2 collection were generated by some more esoteric numeric series, including like the centered polygonal numbers, something called the Modskin numbers, the Perrin numbers, tetrahedral numbers. And these have particularly glassy and kind of timbres to them, which I'm greatly fond of. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see, so there's the Mband waveforms, Mband wavetables. How long have I been going now? 30 minutes, you're probably getting bored. Go to wavetables.lol. You'll find two things. You'll find my free version of this. You'll find the commercial version, which is $29. Again, gets you 36,000 interesting wavetables, 29,000 interesting waveforms. Go check it out and have fun. I'm going to take a short break, which you won't see because I'm just going to pause, and then maybe we'll do some other stuff, I guess. I'm sure there's other things I want to talk about, and I'll do more videos. So, like and subscribe so that you get notified when I yammer on about more synthesis stuff. Okay, all right. Okay, so in the full collection, you get the waveforms organized by the type of synthesis that was used to create them. Hey, here's a little demo patch that's vaguely vocal, using these gated log waveforms. And so you can go through, let's see here, in the full collection, let's go to Math Volume 1. You can see that if we go to that collection in ModWave, of course, you can also do this in your hardware ModWave. It's not quite as easy. When you go to select a waveform, when you go to select a wavetable, you can hit like Shift and the plus, like the page right thing, and you can go in and you can select the different collections. So you can go into Math, and then in Math, you'll see there's a huge number of wavetables where the type of synthesis is kind of their name. So these ones are actually, let's turn, is 2 on here? No, it's not on here. Well, part of the effect here is coming from our multi-filter, which is vaguely vocal. Let's see, let's look at the Bell series. These are sort of bell-like, but they have a stronger fundamental, as you can see. And for all of these series kind of waveforms, the polygonal waves, the Fibonacci series, powers of 2 series, the way the wavetable is constructed is I generated these waveforms with like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18 bins, so the partials. And so there's kind of a built-in filtering effect in there. And then also using a frequency base of 2 rather than 1, and then a frequency base of 3 rather than 1, just to give like a lot of timbral variety. And then you'll find things like offsets. Let's see. These are the binary AFM. Anyway, you get the idea. Bit mask techniques. Lots and lots of waveforms. So you don't get these in the free collection because these are like the source waveforms. Instead, you get like just a whole bunch of kind of the random Explore, RAIM, and multiband wavetables. But in the full collection, you can go through and you can actually find all the waves in, organized by the type of synthesis that was used. So that's kind of cool. And there's a lot of wavetables in here. Let's see, what are these guys? Modulo waveforms. produced using the modulo function. All right. I'm just kind of goofing around now. One thing about like a lot of the waveforms and wavetables in this collection is they respond really well to the different modifiers. And of course, Serum, Vital, and Modwave each have their own kind of modifiers for wavetables. But one of the really cool things that I like about the Modwave and Modwave Native are these like the Vintage 8 and Vintage 12 modifiers, which kind of they create an 8-bit version of the wavetables and allow more aliasing. And so like here's a little thing, a little 80s wash. Neato, beautiful stuff. And of course, we could just, again, one cool thing about these is you kind of get a patch going, and then you can kind of go to the next wavetable in your collection. And mix and match for like, new and interesting effects. Nifty. One other thing, this is not in the collection yet. But one thing I've been playing around with is other ways of constructing wavetables from this collection, and these will make it into a future version. It won't be paid as I do new things with these waveforms and generate new ones. I will add them to the collection, so you get an even more ridiculous number of wavetables. But let's go big head mode because I'm going to use my hands. So one really interesting thing I've been exploring is to take like the entire waveform collection, both the waves from Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then, oh, cool. I have a notification. I'm sure you were happy to hear that. I took like the entire collection of waveforms from Volume 1 of the Mathwaves and Volume 2 of the Mathwaves, and then use some data reduction techniques, right, to basically like find the commonalities between them, right? So first reducing the dimensions and then using machine learning techniques to create a two-dimensional grid of here are all the waveforms that are similar, right? And then find the closest path, the shortest path between them to create wavetables that are not just random, but where the waveforms are sort of like each other and then slowly diverge over the path. So here's a patch that uses those path wavetables. And I love how it kind of ends and there's a little sort of a choir feel to it. Am I making Nick Bat face? I don't know. I'm not watching. Cool. And again, when I did this, since I was taking one starting wave and one ending waveform at a time, like this actually created another 12,000 wavetables. These are not quite ready yet. I might do the analysis again, but it's super interesting. And of course you could do that. Like, if you bought the full collection, you would have all the single cycle waveforms because they are provided in 16-bit or 32-bit, depending on the waveform, single cycle waves with an arbitrary playback rate of 44.1 kilohertz. Of course, that doesn't matter because they're single cycle waveforms. But they also have loop points set. And then additionally, you get all the waveforms converted to multi-samples in the Korg format so that you could use them in your wave state. I will do a separate video about that because that's a little more complex. But if basically I created a single multi-sample file for each one. So you can take the editor librarian, sorry, you can take sample builder, you can load any number of those up that you want. You could create then, either patches that use a single cycle waveform, or you could construct, what are called wave sequences out of those. So lots of nifty things you can do with this collection. So I should probably shut up now because I've been going for 40 minutes. Again, go and check it out. There'll be links in the video description. Like and subscribe if you like to listen to me yammer on about this kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing more talk about wavetable theory and single cycle waveform theory and junk like that. But anyway, have a great day. Go to wavetables.lol, check stuff out, have fun. Your old pal Keith says bye. I will talk to you later.